With the turf as his canvas and his eyes, mind, and feet as his brush, there are few things prettier in football than a great open field runner. Watch a highlight from an overhead angle and a running back weaving through a defense has a similar beauty and energy as a figure skater carving up the ice. Football is a game of inches, so when an offense forces a defense to cover the width of the field, it intensifies the value of quick and agile athletes. College offenses have spread defenses wide enough that a good scat back can make his opponents look like they're sliding around on a frozen pond. Lake Seastrunk and Isaiah Pede were electrifying runners on Saturdays, but on Sundays, you need to have enough gritty if you ever hope to look pretty. I'm Matt Waldman, and welcome to the RSP Boiler Room. The Boiler Room is a series featuring analysis that I would hypothetically share with NFL decision makers if I was asked to find a handful of plays that illustrates the talent, skills, limitations, and future potential of NFL prospects. This week's episode highlights the importance of a running back's decision making. That's also his mentality at the end of runs and his pass protection technique. Our subject is TCU running back Aaron Green. His 7.1 yards per carry on 129 touches last year for the Horned Frogs epitomizes Saturday pretty. This week's RSP Boiler Room examines whether the 5'11", 202-pound Green has what it takes to be Sunday gritty. After watching the 2015 opener at Minnesota, I have my concerns. But there is physicality in another aspect of Green's game that if he can tap into it and then apply it to his running style, there's a shot for him to develop into an NFL contributor. We begin with his positives, quickness and agility. Watch Green avoid two penetrating defenders to reach the line of scrimmage on his red zone play. Note the bend of his hips and Green's ability to slide between the penetration before beating a third defender at the line of scrimmage for a 3-yard gain. Many runners would have lost 1 to 2 yards on this play. Even so, Green's skill for finishing plays is lacking. He spots the inside linebacker at the right as he enters the hole, and he does an adequate job of getting his pads low just before making contact with the defender. But for a back of his size, the pads either need to be lower so he can work under the linebacker completely, or he must get stronger so he can drive through the contact and fall forward. The linebacker in this case lifts Green off his feet and limits the back to a 3-yard gain. The fact that Green turns his pads as soon as he makes contact and tries to back his way into more yards is a disturbing occurrence with his tape in this game. He shies away from contact at the last moment, and when a player flinches in this scenario, he's already lost the battle for yards after contact. This 1st and 10 to the left flat features a wicked bounce outside, followed by a head fake on the flat defender to earn the first down. Watch it again. Smooth. But there's room for debate about Green's decision to work outside. Note the position of the center coming off his double team with the left guard. He's in a spot to take on the middle linebacker with the split of the safeties and the right guard peeling off his double team. Green could have had a straight shot up the middle for an equal if not greater gain. One argument in favor of Green bouncing the play is the penetration of the nose tackle, who was in position to shed the left guard inside and possibly wrap Green at the line of scrimmage. But if I track the steps and distance covered with Green's bounce outside, with the point that the nose tackle sheds the guard, and account for the fact that moving in a straight line takes less time than a change of direction, I believe Green clears this hole with no problem and picks up the center's block, clearing the backside linebacker's pursuit, and he's off into the secondary. It's not a definitive take, and Green's effort gets the job done, but my concern is Green displays his tendency to bounce plays outside too often, and it won't work in the NFL with the same high rate of success that he's having at TCU. Here's a play where Green hits the hole for a gain of nearly 4 yards, but the decision making is once again debatable. Watch the center and right guard create a crease where Green could have bounced the play to his left and reached the flat for a larger gain, but he opted to work under the right guard into a defender. When Green takes the straight path, he doesn't finish with the same low pad level that most running backs would, and he drives to work through contact from number 95. Instead, he tries to veer away from the defender at the last second and leans backwards to avoid the contact. This is a passive, weak finish. If Green drops the pads and drives forward, his momentum carries him another 1 to 2 yards, and this first down gain of 3.5 yards is closer to 6 or more. Here's a 3rd and 2 run where the cutback is an excellent decision, but the tentative passive finish yields a disastrous result. The Gophers foil the play design to the left and force Green to reverse his field to the right. Green's quick feet and flexible hips are an asset, and he reaches the right flat with the first down marker in sight. Once again, he doesn't drop the pads enough or get downhill to accelerate through the contact of his opponent. This time, he has an even matchup in size with the cornerback and still fails to attack. He lowers the shoulder very late into the contact, but if you don't attack first as a runner in this situation, you lose, especially heading sideline to sideline. The cornerback's hit turns Green around and exposes the ball to the backside pursuit. If Green were more aggressive as a finisher, the backside pursuit never gets a shot at this ball because the runner would have bounced off this hit further to the sideline and extended the ball near the boundary for the first down, or he would have used his forearm to deliver a shot to the corner and drive downhill for the extra yard. It's a bang-bang play, so there's room for debate that I'm being too rough on Green. But these are the calls you sometimes have to make when evaluating tape, and I see too many close calls where Green isn't finishing strong, and I think it hurts his overall game. Watch the weak finish on this 2nd and 10 run through a nice hole up the middle. As he approaches the 50, he makes a cut to dip inside the safety, but it's not strong move, and it appears he's leaning away from the contact so he can hit the ground without taking a hit. You might say, so what? He got the first down and didn't want to get hurt, so it's a smart play. It's also one of a pattern of plays where he isn't making the most of his opportunity. If he's not doing so in the easier situations, it's unlikely Green will do so in more difficult scenarios. Despite what I think is a glaring issue, Green displays physicality as a pass protector. It's not something you would expect after watching him carry the ball. Here's an excellent cut block on the blitzing cornerback late in the half. Green squares the opponent, he's patient, he takes a good angle, and he does it at the last moment so he's not telegraphing the block. A lot of backs would dive for the legs, especially runners who seem hesitant to finish strong as ball carriers. This isn't the only play where Green holds up well as a blocker. Here's a run to right end where Green serves as the lead blocker and turns the edge contain to the sideline for a crease inside the right hash. The angle and punch are sound enough for the runner to get through. Now, it's possible that Green waited a beat late to turn back to the defender, but I like his confidence in working past the edge defender first and then peeling back as a way to set up the angle of this block. This is advanced stuff. It's hard to see from this angle, but this late peel might have made the crease so narrow that the runner could have tripped over Green's legs and limited the potential of the gain. But upon looking at this several times, I think the runner falls because he bumps into the tight end, and the slightly earlier peel by Green may not have been the direct cause of hurting the run, but he also might have widened the crease a little bit more if he actually peeled off earlier, and this would have kept a narrow crease from occurring. Overall, it's still a nice block in terms of showing sound knowledge of angles. Here's a stand-up block versus a blitz in the 3rd quarter. The 3rd of 3 blocks that I think belies the idea that Green lacks the desire to get physical. The diagnosis of the linebacker working inside the left tackle is sound. His position forces the linebacker to take the outside angle, and Green delivers a punch with his feet at a decent split so he can hit and then slide another step with a follow-up. If Green can add a little more weight without losing his quickness and develop more confidence and aggression as a finisher when he's carrying the ball, the Horned Frogs runner has enough all-around skills to become a good passing down back and change of pace in the NFL. This gives him an advantage over backs like C. Strunk and Trey Williams, who had little to no portfolio of note as pass protectors. But Isaiah Pead could block, and his forays to the corner store have been too frequent for the Rams to use him in its starting rotation. Despite the glimmer of hope Green displays in the passing game, I think it's unlikely that he transfers his physicality as a pass protector to his ball carrying. It means I don't expect him to have a long career in the NFL. I hope I'm wrong, because he is a pretty runner. But you can't be pretty without some gritty if you want to make it as a professional. Thanks for watching. For even more football analysis and prospect evaluation, subscribe to the RSP Film Room on YouTube and check out my blog at mattwaldmanrsp.com.